Hey guys, this lesson is on addition and subtraction word problems. We've already learned addition and subtraction with regrouping and using multiple digits. Now we're going to look at what we should do and how we should solve problems when those numbers are given to us in the context of a word problem. First, we're going to talk about some things we need to think about as we solve these problems. We always need to read the question carefully and think about what the question is asking you. We need to underline or circle keywords or important information. We need to eliminate information you don't need to solve the problem. We'll have to decide which operation we'll use. Are we going to add or subtract? And then we can do the math and solve the problem. Now let's look at an example problem. The first thing we're going to do is read that question very carefully. Jason has 109 books, and he has read 8 of them. Fred has 120 books. How many books do they have together? So I need to think about what the question is asking me. It's asking me, how many books do they have together? So that's asking me, that word together is telling me that I'm going to combine the books that Jason has and the books that Fred has together. And if I'm going to combine, that means I'm going to add. I'm going to eliminate some information I don't need. This question is asking me about how many books the boys have. It doesn't say anything about how many they've read. So I'm going to get rid of the information that tells me how many of his books Jason has read, because I don't need that and I don't want to be thrown off by that number 8. Now I've already decided that I'm going to add, so I'm going to add the number of books that Jason has to the number of books that Fred has. And I always add from right to left, starting with the ones place. 9 plus 0 is 9. 0 plus 2 is 2. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So when I took the number of books Jason had and the number of books Fred had and combined them, I found out that they have 229 books together. Now I want you to try this practice problem, and then we will go over it. Okay, the first thing we need to do is read the problem carefully. There are 119 crayons and 139 scissors in the drawer. Sandy placed 129 more crayons in the drawer. How many crayons are now there in all? I'm going to underline my question because that's important information. How many crayons are now there in all? Well, I can eliminate some information from this problem based on the question. It's asking me about how many crayons. So I don't need to know how many scissors are in the drawer. I only needed to know how many crayons were in the drawer. Now I need to decide which operation I'm going to do. It says how many crayons are now there in all. And the problem told me that Sandy placed 129 more crayons in the drawer. So I know that there were already 119 crayons in the drawer. And then Sandy placed or put 129 more. So I'm going to add because she put an additional 129 crayons in the drawer. So I'm going to add starting with the ones place. 9 plus 9 is 18. I can only put the ones in the ones place. 18 is really a group of 1 10 and 8 ones. So I'm going to put that 10 in the tens place. So that makes 4 tens and 2 hundreds. So there are now 248 crayons. Now let's look at another example. Joan found 809 seashells and 102 starfish on the beach. She gave 342 of the seashells to Jason. How many seashells does Joan now have? So the question is asking me to find how many seashells Joan has after she gave some of them to Jason. Notice that the question only asks about seashells, so I don't need to know about the starfish. Now I know that Joan had 809 seashells to start with, and then she gave 342 of them to Jason. Well, if she gave 342 of them away, I'm not going to add 342 because she didn't receive them. She gave them, so I'm going to subtract 342 from 809. Just like with addition, we work from right to left, starting with the ones place. 9 minus 2 is 7. Now when I do 0 minus 4, that 0 is smaller than the 4, so I'm going to have to borrow. And when I borrow, that 8 becomes a 7, and the 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6, and 7 minus 3 is 4. So Joan has 467 seashells remaining. Now I want you to try this practice problem on your own, and we'll go over it. Practice problem number 2 says Tim's high school played 898 football games this year. He attended 183 games. How many games did Tim miss? In this problem, there's no extra information that I don't need, so I can move on to trying to figure out which operation to use. So there were a total of 898 games. Tim only went to 183 of them, which means that all of the other games he did not go to or he missed. So I'm going to take away or subtract the number of games he went to from the total number of games. What's left will be the number of games that Tim missed. 8 minus 3 is 5. 9 minus 8 is 1. 8 minus 1 is 7. So there were 715 games that Tim missed. I can check this work by saying that Tim went to 183 games and missed 715 games. If I add them together, I should get the total number of games. 898 is the total number of games, so my answer is correct.